mostly on Twitch. I also do YouTube and TikTok and all that fun stuff. But I'm also an esports caster that specializes in first-person shooters. And when I am not doing all that, I do robotics casting. I've done that for 10 years now as a volunteer, focusing mostly on the educational programs like FIRST and a few others.
Awesome. First of all, I just want to say thank you so much for having me. My name is Camilla, and my channel on Twitch is Cat's Tales. I'm a stay-at-home mom, and that is basically my superpower. I have 3 boys, and one of them is special needs. I stream just on Twitch right now. I closed almost all of my social media in the last year because I was having some health challenges within the family with one of my boys. I hope to reopen those maybe in like the next month or 2.
So hi, I'm Zeldin. I am a variety streamer over on Twitch. I love doing Zelda games and horror games, anything fun, I love it. I am also a cosplayer, as you can tell, and I love doing anything creative, so nice to see you guys.
Thank you all. To kick things off, let's start right at the very beginning. What made you all first decide to press the go live button? Camilla, do you want to kick this off?
I can. So, as I was talking earlier about the robotics stuff, so I was a volunteer for years as a robotics caster, robotics host for events. And during the pandemic, everything got shut down, and I got really bored at home. I'm like, if I'm going to play video games, maybe I can do some good. My friend does St. Jude Play Alive, which if you don't know what that is, it's a big fundraising campaign for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital to help support the kids there for treatment, cover the cost of the family staying with the kids and all the research and everything. So I was like, you know what? If I'm going to play games, I can go live. It can't be that hard. And I had a goal of $100. We ended up raising $3,100 in 1 month, and then I hit Twitch affiliate, and I went, maybe I'm okay at this. And then I just kind of continued down this interesting path where I've bounced around games, started doing more charity stuff, worked a little bit in the industry. Now this is my full-time job, but I started raising money, and now I have a community where I can empower people to do good. And that's what I'm mostly proud of, and that's a lot of my journey at this point. So
that sounds awesome. I guess I had a similar start a little bit. I've been playing Star Wars: The Old Republic for 12 years. And thanks, Jack. I've been playing for a very long time. I've been streaming for about 3 years. During the pandemic times, I was playing a lot more, and I started raiding. And one of my friends who was a Star Wars content creator, officially in the program, was like, Kat, you're a really good player, and you can be funny. I think you should start streaming. And I was like, are you serious? I don't know. I don't think he was going to come to my streams. But he sort of kicked my butt and was like, I think you should do it. And one day, after feeling like I was going to barf, I did press go live on Twitch finally, and I've been streaming for the last 3 years. I too occasionally do some fundraising. I mostly fundraise for American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. That's a personal cause for me. I lost my sister to depression. My gosh, that's about 15 years ago now. So every year I raise about $1,000 for my community, which I don't think is anywhere near as large as yours, but I feel like it's worthwhile for communities to do things that help everybody if they can. So
I just want to point out that even if you're just streaming, even if you don't make a single dollar for the charity, there are more people who know about it and can go utilize the resources, and that's great.
That's true. I really do. I put that up periodically. It'll just go here if you need that as a thing. So.
Yeah, I started by, when I was little, I would always be the one with the controller in my hand. I had 2 siblings that would watch me play, and they would laugh along with me when I did voices, when I did anything silly throughout the games. And as I got older, I realized I really had a passion for making people laugh. So I decided that doing Twitch streaming would be really good. It would basically replicate that feeling I had growing up. So I pressed the go live button, and then it it's just been a lot of fun ever since. It's a lot of struggle, a lot of figuring things out, but it's worth it. Yeah.
So speaking of figuring things out, how did you kind of figure out what sort of content you wanted to create, and how do you kind of go about content planning?
I guess I can start this off. I focus on games that I enjoy. I understand some people are very analytical and they'll sit there and go, okay, so I have like X amount of viewers for this one game and that's the most I've had, and this game is similar. I don't do that. It's purely vibes for me. I want to have fun and I want to be genuine. I don't want to pressure myself with the like analytical side of it. Sometimes I do, but mostly focusing on just vibes and fun and everything. But I do plan my content at least. I sit there and go, I'm streaming on this day, this day, this day. I have X amount of hours to figure out like how, making a YouTube video, work on a sponsored thing. I try to make sure that I have a work-life balance that isn't just 100% work. Because I'm the type of person that I'm passionate. I will work until 3 a.m. and then regret it the next day. So I try to at least balance things out.
I think as far as content planning, Star Wars is my home game. I do stream that at least a couple days a week, but I do have a very set schedule about when I'm going to be on. Everybody knows when I'm going to be on. Certain days are usually certain games, or the other days will be like, Roulette Day, what's going to happen? Like, I don't know. But typically, my schedule is sort of ruled by my family schedule. So I stream during the day until school gets out, and then I take a break, and I do dinner and all that other stuff, and then I'll stream again at night. And sometimes I regret that, because I'm like, oh, I'm having a really good time. Like, I was staying until like 1, and I'm like, it's in the morning, do everything else. So that part is true, and I do agree with that too. Like, my big challenge right now is I might actually have to stream less hours so that I can go back, reopen new socials, start trying to put out videos, like doing all of those things. It's going to change my overall availability. I'll probably be less live, but like more places, which is sort of a strange feeling. I do only have about 20 hours, 25 hours a week that I can put towards it. So it's kind of,
I'm in the same boat as Camilla, that the games that I choose to play are the ones that I feel like playing. I went and took games from my childhood and basically just brought them into adulthood because I'm obsessed with them and I can't help myself. So I'll play games like The Legend of Zelda that I watch my mom play, or Resident Evil that I watch my mom play, or anything else that I watch my mom play, and I'll play it now, and it's a lot of fun. So I always cater to my inner child, and I hope that other people enjoy it along with me, and I get very lucky and find a lot of people that have the same interests as me, and that's really nice.
That's so lovely that you can share that love of gaming with your mom. I'm curious, over the years as you've been creating content, how has your content evolved, or your involvement in the gaming industry evolved? Camilla, I know you're a caster now, as well as a streamer. Did those two kind of happen together, or did you start casting later after you started creating content?
Because I came from like the robotics casting side of it, I always wanted to do esports casting, but it just never really like pivoted until I started making content, where I was like, hey, like I do actually like games and I like doing all this kind of stuff, and by the way, I happen to be a caster for robotics. It'd be cool if you let me cast your esports event. So I guess it's this weird, like, I guess in theory I was a caster just in a completely different vertical before moving into casting for esports, because there's so many talented people out there already that like I could probably list off like 50 people and all of them are phenomenal, and there's definitely more than 50 people. Yeah, that's more what happened with me when it came to like that content, or not really content shift, but going from robotics caster to content creator to then being like, oh, more casting, but it's esports, and now balancing content creation and esports, and have that I give to robot casting, aka the 6 weeks I like don't exist to the world.
I don't think that I haven't changed platforms. I've been streaming on Twitch this whole time, but I will say I do feel like that my overall stream has definitely evolved. You know, when you first hit live, like everything looks a little scruffy, and so you do sort of like perfect getting ready, perfect your online. I always wear the exact same tank top. That's like an $8 tank top that comes from Old Navy. I have it in like 57 colors, just like a stack of the same tank top. Like I try to make things easier for yourself and just sort of standardize the product. Like this is what I'm gonna wear, this is the time I'm gonna be on. So that has changed. The other thing is that I've really gotten less. I don't know. I have to take myself a little less seriously, so I have like goofy redeems now. Like at first I was like, no, I'm not gonna do that. Like I'm just kidding, you know. And now I'm just like, whatever. If you have 200,000 channel points, like I'll do it for 2 minutes, you know. Like I don't even care. Like it's funny, and you can't take yourself that seriously. So in that regard, I feel like it's evolved somewhat, and it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, for me, I feel like I've evolved a lot. I was doing just Twitch mostly, and then as time has gone along, I realized that I have other things, other hobbies I have, for example, cosplaying, that do really well on other platforms like TikTok, or I post reels or YouTube shorts or anything like that, but it's a lot of work. It's so much to be able to make the thing, and then record the thing, and then make the thing entertaining for other people to like it. So I'm learning a lot how to make my content much better for other people now, instead of just like figuring out, okay, how do I do the thing? Okay, now I know how to do the thing, but how do I do the thing well? And that's basically what I'm learning now.
Awesome. Throughout this process, as your content has evolved, have you ever tried to create content that was completely outside of your comfort zone? And if so, can you speak on any rewards or challenges you experienced during that process?
I think the most out of what was, I've embraced it since. Out of character thing I've ever done is I was running very family friendly because I volunteered for kids. And then Baldur's Gate 3 came into my life. And that gave a death grip on me. That was the only thing I was playing. There is a TikTok where my community coined my giant water bottle a sippy keg, because it's a gallon water bottle. And I started choking on a star and saying a very specific line that I'm not going to say right now. So I went from, I'm uncomfortable because there's all this like romance and it's adult topics, and I'm more of a family-friendly streamer up till then. Also because my mom watches my streams. And I just ended up embracing it and just being like, you know what, it's not that scary. I just avoid certain scenes because I know my mom's in the chat and she doesn't need to see the tentacle things in Baldur's Gate 3. But yeah, I was super uncomfortable at first, and I finally was like, I'm just enjoying myself too much, and my community is finding it funny and everything, so I'll embrace it. It's now part of my stream. We joke about things all the time when it comes to that. It's just riding the line of like trying to keep it at least PG-13 is the goal now, instead of just 100% G all the time.
I feel like for me, like this thing that would be really outside my comfort zone is actually what we're doing right now. I'm so much better as far as feeling comfortable talking to the lens. Like I see everyone say this, I'm like, wow, there's like people, I don't know them, what's going on here. So I do super appreciate you guys for showing up, but like that was really afraid of you.
This year, I got to participate in a challenge with Respawn Products. They make the chairs, they're really nice chairs. and we did this thing called Respawn Recruits, where every week we posted content and competed to become a Respawn partner. And that was a whole challenge in itself, because they had little things that they expected of you each week to do, and then you had to be good at it, and they liked it and pass you off to the next round. So each time it was a new challenge. There was one like edit like you don't usually edit, or talk about yourself, or all sorts of different challenges each week that I would not have normally done. Normally put myself in situations like meeting other content creators and playing games with them when I met them a few days before. So I did that this year, and it ended up worth it. Like, I ended up getting a partnership, and it was so worth it to do that, even though it was nerve-wracking and my mental health was like, ugh, but it was good in the end.
So, as you guys were starting out as well, how did you get your first few community members? Were they friends and family? Were they folks that came and followed you from a different community? Or did you kind of just press YOLO and people will find me when they find me?
I'm going to offer if anyone else wants to do it first.
I'll do it. So with mine, it was just me, because I get very embarrassed when people in real life know that I'm a streamer. Like, I don't want you to know that. That's my secret, thank you. But over time, I've gotten a lot of support from the people I know, and that's been really helpful. Like, my partner was like my first follower, so that's always really nice. But then I was able to join other communities, like HMK's community, and he was able to get me, to meet so many amazing people in his community that so happen to have the same likes that I do. So I got very lucky with the people I meet and the people I admire, that I was able to learn from them and then meet awesome people by chance.
I think I mentioned it earlier that when I first started streaming, it was at the encouragement of another person who also streamed Star Wars: The Old Republic. And I will say that the community of our room is super supportive. The content creators, we always rate each other, we're always building each other up. And the people that, when I first started streaming, really embraced me. And, people rated me a ton, and, we always have a theme, like in our review, trying to pay it forward. Many of us are in a stream team together, and it's been really awesome. So I think because of that, it was very fast path to affiliate, whatever, it was simple. And I always really appreciated the other streamers, Marcus and Switch Vista, and even Chimera when he was still streaming was a lot more. I'm trying to think about who else. Kitty and Inspire Creators Program, although he's not a streamer, he did, was supportive. And I just feel like we have a really nice, kind of like a family in our community, so it was wonderful.
So my first few folks that were watching my streams, I knew in real life. We do robotics casting together. Like, we all travel together to volunteer at these events. And since it was St. Jude Play Life season, my friend that I mentioned earlier was like the stream team manager for Team Kitty, which was the original all women's stream team on Twitch. And they did a giant St. Jude Play Life campaign, because I reached out and was like, I don't want to kind of make this like a who can do it better. I'd rather just work together type of situation. So can I just fundraise alongside your team? Is that allowed? And they embraced me very, very much. I'm now a stream team member for them. But yeah, I just had real life folks that were super excited to see me just trying to do this, especially since I've been hosting and casting robotics, and they're like, you're comfortable on a microphone and you're comfortable on a camera, so this is probably going to be easy for you. And I said, no, I'm so nervous right now because it's recorded and I don't have a script or numbers to read on the screen. I just have to wing it. But then we grew, and then folks swapped out and everything. Folks are still super supportive, so.
And since then, as you've grown your community, what values have you kind of tried to hold important to you? And are there any rules you keep in place to kind of maintain the vibe? Whoever wants to start us off.
I'll go first with that. So I stream many different areas I will say that as a, maybe not just as a woman streamer, but as a starting out streamers, there was like some of that, you know, why do you think, like in my chat, why do you think you're good enough to be streaming this game? Why do you think that you have the skill to come in this match? Why are you even trying to compete in this whatever? And I was like, no, like, I don't need this, like come fight me then, you know? And then, you know, after a while, I was like, I'm going to your ass or whatever sometimes. So at least I held my own. And I think that that's another thing that I do try to put out there, is that we can all do it. We all can.
So I think the things that I do with my community is that I start off incredibly family friendly. I still basically am, but Baldur's Gate really do be messing things up. Just a little. But I kind of uphold the family friendly values and being really friendly to each other as well. It's nice to be able to have a community that supports you and is excited to see you when you're there, but you're also excited to see them. Like, there are so many people, especially people in the crowd here, that I've gotten to meet from my chat, and that's super cool. And so it's nice to have people, a bunch of like-minded people in your community that are kind to each other and kind to themselves, and having that camaraderie has been really nice. So I like supporting that in my community.
For myself, I started, charity streaming, and it's grown to making sure I have a community where I can empower people to, one, be themselves and be comfortable as themselves, and provide a place where, like, you might not live where you can comfortably be yourself, whether you are like trans or non-binary, or maybe there's just something where like people are picking on you about. I want to provide a space where you can comfortably like come and just be who you are, but also empower people to be good and do good. Mm-hmm. Like with charity streaming, even if you just raise $1 that day, you've done good. If you haven't raised any money and maybe you have a new viewer who's like, I never heard of Take This, which is a mental health nonprofit, but now I know I can go to them for resources. Or like they can just learn like, oh, I didn't know that families at St. Jude don't have to pay a single dime to make sure that their kids get chemo and radiation and everything, and my friend's kid is getting treatment for this, and maybe this would be a better course of action for them. Just being able to empower people just to do good by doing what they love and being themselves is a vital part of my community at this point. Like, I don't think I would have the community I have that like I want to go home and stream to and hang out with and like meet up with at conventions and everything, unless I was actively saying like, hey, this is what I want to build, to make sure that it's not just what I want, but I know it's a place where people can feel comfortable and safe.
That's lovely. We're so lucky to have these awesome content creators making such awesome spaces where people can find support and truly be themselves. A little bit of a more difficult question. We don't get into ultra specifics, but have any of you ever had to remove a community member, and are you willing to kind of speak on that experience?
You have a story. I have, unfortunately, multiple stories for various reasons. I have one specifically in mind that was really early on. It was the first time I ever had to remove someone from my community, and it is also the most extreme case I had to remove someone from my community, because don't show up at my house. That was a very quick, like, oh, I know what to do. Block, block, block. Call the police. Block, 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 block. But that initial first, like, when I realized it was leading down that road, I didn't know what to do. Because I'm like, am I overreacting? Because this was during the pandemic. So I'm like, am I overreacting? Am I just like reading this wrong? Like, I don't think maybe it was a joke and I just didn't realize it was a joke. And then, yeah, don't show up at my house. Very, very solid boundary. I'll cancel my trip. Okay. Thanks.
I fortunately have not had that situation, but now I know what to do. I'm definitely calling the police immediately. Just get out. But yeah, not me.
I have had to remove people at times. Thank God none of them have ever showed up you're done. Usually that's the variety. The ones where you get the messages of like, well, this chat is happening right now. And you're like, well, hey, what the hell are you doing? Why are you in that chat anyway? Yeah, but definitely things happen. It's definitely not always all sunshine and rainbows.
For sure. And with all of this nowadays, how do you go ahead and keep your current community members engaged? And is there anything specific that you do to gain new community members and welcome them into your community?
I really like having game nights. If it's like something that we hit for a sub goal, or maybe there's a game that's coming out that's really popular, that's multiplayer, like Lethal Company. Doing a Lethal Company stream with my community is incredible, and everyone gets so excited, and we have moments forever that we can look back on, and then share on social media too, make content out of that. So it's a win-win when you get to play with them too.
Yeah, oftentimes I'll do community games. I usually do that on Sundays. Anyone, anywhere, I'll put it in my Discord. But additionally, like once I'm up and streaming, I'll put it up there, like come play with us. And usually we'll run operations, which are like larger scale content where you can get up to 16 players. I will typically bring a couple wranglers from my nightmare team so that we are guaranteed to clear everything and it will be fun. But that's what I market it as. I'm like, even if you've never done a single second of an operation, if you've been too intimidated to join something like that and you're not sure how it works, come with us and we're going to make sure you have a fun day. And I've done those for as many as 16 hours in a row. So those days are actually always really fun because a lot of times people they do talk about like, oh, I'm too intimidated, I don't want to talk to anyone, or I'm afraid to group, or they're not going to be nice to me, or whatever. And we will welcome anyone and everyone to those days.
I send my community cat photos in my Discord. But seriously, for like keeping folks around, I just try to do you around in Discord. I don't unfortunately have the time to dedicate like an off-stream game night, and I try to, after many instances of realizing maybe I shouldn't trust people to come onto my stream, I don't really like to stream with folks unless it's like Jackbox, where I have the moderation settings, or like a couple other things. But yeah, it's primarily cat photos because I got 2 cats.
Cat photos are always highly effective.
It helps when one is named Dumpster Fire and everyone knows
I love it.
I'm curious also, are there any larger communities that any of you are a part of or actively engage with? And what attracts you to those communities or makes you interested in investing your time and energy into them? Zeldin, I'd actually like to start with you because I know you're part of the Twitch Latin Guild. I'm part of the Twitch Women's Guild, and it's been a wonderful experience for me. I'd love for you to speak on your experience.
Sure. Yes, there was the Twitch Latin Guild I joined this year. They actually had a meetup that I didn't get to go to, but I could see that there were so many people that were really excited to see each other, and they've built like a nice friendship, a nice bond, because it's really nice to be able to have cultural similarities, and sometimes I struggle to find that. And so having that here, or in communities like Cafe Cultivar, which is also a Latina community, or having that is amazing. I'm also in communities like the Game Hers, where it's for women and all-inclusive gaming. There's also a part of Respawn that I've mentioned before. They have their recruits, and that becomes a whole community in itself. And I'm part of the Fifth Dimension, which is HMK's community. And I'm attracted to all of these communities because, one, they're so inclusive to everybody. You can have anybody from whatever walk of life, and you can have fun with them. You can talk to them. You can go into Discord and plan things with them. All of those communities are just incredible support systems to fall back on if ever needed. So.
I think I'm part of several larger communities. I'm part of Switchwest's community, like in Star Wars Old Republic, part of Stay Alive's community in Star Wars. I'm part of a community that's called Hag Gaming, but it actually stands for Hip all of the comments on there, of course, all of them is gaming. And I do think it's something that brings a lot of people together. It brings together people with similarities, but it also brings together people with differences. I also been welcomed into ESB community. Thank you. I'm also in another community that's called Gay and Unhinged. But I feel like everyone's so welcoming, and it's always been very lovely in general from both streamer and player. So I appreciate that.
I guess for myself, I hang out with a lot of my IRL friend streamers because I've been here long enough that I have a lot of friends that are streamers. So if I am not streaming, I am working and lurking in someone else's stream. But I also tend to be around in Thousand Dreams on Discord, which nonprofit that supports women and femme-identifying folks in the gaming space and music space. There's St. Jude Playline Discord. I kind of realized as I'm answering this question, I mostly hang out in like the charity discords. It's just occurred to me just now. Not a bad thing, just realizing like, oh yeah, there's a lot of charities I'm about to tally off right now. Like Take This, mental health focused nonprofit, Able Gamers as well, which happens to be here at the Voodoo Ranger booth, so you should go tell them Camilla Panda, aka Nikki, sent you from this panel to say hello afterwards. Yeah, just a lot of charity stuff.
We love that. With all this being said, how has being a woman shaped your content creation experience? And do you feel like you've faced any unique challenges as a woman in a male-dominated space?
I have so many stories. I don't like that I have so many stories. Realistically, I should not have so many stories that are negative, but it's been weird. Is the best way I can put that. I'm very glad I have a community that if someone comes in and they're just like, you know, top related items, my community goes, buddy, that's not the place for that. And you're gonna leave immediately. I've had it even at like an actual convention before. I was chatting with folks in a content room and we were just getting to know each other and I told them like my story and everything like that. And they were just like on their phone and they're like, yeah, you know, you probably only have a community and people who follow you because you're pretty and you're a girl. And I sat there like, I work hard, what? Like I was just flabbergasted that it's not, you know, an icon and like a name with a bunch of numbers behind it. It was a IRL, like in looking across the table from each other conversation where they had the audacity to say that to my face.
It's so funny people say that too because they're like, oh, you know, it's so easy gaining a community as a woman. But the numbers and the stats don't say that when you look at the top streamers. How many women are up there at the top? So the math ain't mathing.
Yeah. Okay. For mine, it's just interesting to see, especially across different platforms, how you are treated as a woman. Like, if I'm on Twitch, I'm pretty okay for the most part. On Twitter, I might get a DM that's like, oh, I didn't know you had a fiance, I'm so sorry. Which is very strange. I don't know why you would do that. And then on Instagram, I'll get comments like, women with a teacup emoji. And I'm like, I don't know what that means, but cool. That's cool. So, I mean, it's driving the engagement, so we'll take that. But it's really strange to know that I'm receiving comments because of who I am. And it's not the greatest feeling. Like, it'd be nice to be able to just exist and enjoy myself and not have to be worried that somebody is sticking around for those purposes. But, you know, it comes with the job. So.
As you've been dealing with these unique challenges, have there been any support systems or tools that have helped you on your journey, specifically being a woman in a male-dominated space?
I use the auto-mod thing on Twitch. I'm doing whatever or something, so I don't know what I'm going to say.
It's doing the Lord's work.
Yeah, thank you, little bot thing that I don't even know how it works. You're doing a lot for me these days. But I do actually have to hats off to my mods who sometimes pick things up before I even see them. I'll just look over and be like, oh, there was a
my moderating crew is great. They're wonderful. I will get sent memes when things happen and they'll check in on me and make sure everything's fine. Like, I have been away from Discord and they will just be like, hey, this one person is posting some really questionable memes here. Can you just, like, give us a little direction? But also for more of a support system too, just like talking to other creators that like we identify similarly, or I've got a buddy that does content creation too that has done it for much longer than myself and is a lot more successful, but I can just sit there and be like, hey, like, I have a question, and I'll get the longest message back that, you know, where they're like, hey, I'm just trying to be supportive and trying to help. So surrounding myself with folks that are similar to me in the sense that they understand, like, if I'm reaching out to you, it's just because, like, I just have a question, I gotta pick your brain, but also, like, understanding my journey and, like, the different pieces of it, too. Like, with esports casting, I have learned when I started esports casting, all of the other casters really want to help people who are new. Like, I can just sit there and be like, hey, I made a reel. Is it cool if you review it? And I'll have notes back in like 5 minutes while they're casting, like in on the like, that's impressive. So, knowing like there's folks that want to help you is super helpful. And knowing you can go to them with whatever you need. Just double check that they have the mental spoons for it first, because this is an industry that are exhausting. It can get exhausting.
For me, I have a support system of like creator friends who understand. Like if something happens in one chat and we share it, somebody in the same community, we can like verify like, oh, was this something that I should be worried about? No? Yes? Maybe? We can like parse through that together, but also having a support system of a partner at home that understands the world of streaming and content creating and is able to like help me parse through when my brain is like so full of information that I can't quite figure out myself. It's nice to have somebody to go back with and talk back and forth with. Just being able to communicate with others basically is the best support system that I have.
Awesome. Also, Kat, on top of being a streamer, you have the world's probably most important job, which is being a mom, and not just being a mom, but being a mom times 3. How do you balance being a streamer and a mom?
Sometimes I would say very badly, but mostly I have a supportive system at home. A lot of times if I have to break out of what I'm doing, which is usually dishes, I have to run to raid. Our team's been running, one of my teammates is here. Our team's been running for almost 2 years straight, progressing from the hard modes of our stuff through nightmare modes. And sometimes when we have to meet early, it's easier to meet on a strange day. Sometimes it's hard. I think that the hardest thing about, well, my kids actually understand better now because it's been 3 years, but I think they're actually proud of me too. They think it's cool. And it's nice. One of my sons is actually here. He had to go back to college, but he came, he was sad he wasn't able to pick the piano, but overall it's just been supportive at home. The hardest thing to manage is that sometimes I have to cut off even if I'm in the middle of something, and then sometimes I might be a little bit late for something because, again, I can't cut off from the thing that I'm doing. That was the worst answer ever. Sorry.
I think it was great, and I think it's amazing hearing that you can balance it. I think so many folks wonder if they'll be able to balance a career like that in motherhood, and it's lovely to see you doing the thing. I'm curious if any of you have any advice, if you could go back and talk to your younger self about getting into content creation. If you could give yourself one piece of advice, what would that be?
I can take this one, I guess. I was fortunate. I had multiple friends that were already streamers, like when I started streaming. So when I realized that I wanted to do this full time, or not really full time, but like take it more seriously, I reached out and said, hey, like, what's a piece of advice that you can give? And my one friend sat down and said, hey, this job is very draining on your mental health. And I listened. focus more on my mental health because you know, you blow up a couple times and people say some really not nice things, or for whatever reason someone suddenly has an issue with you and you're just like, I don't understand what happened because I'm not good at peopling. So it's very draining. And if I could just go back and like tell myself and just be like, look, you've already been told and you believe it, but it's going to be a lot harder than just what they said. Please take the days off. You might be scared to, just do it. Don't focus on the numbers, just please, whatever it is, make sure that your happiness comes first.
So for me, I think back then, I have mental health struggles. That's something that's just a given with me, and I've accepted it. But back then, I did not know how to present myself, like to put myself out there on social media. So if I were to give myself advice back then, it would be like, seek even more therapy if you want to, or seek more support systems to be able to figure out what you want to do and then actually do it. Because I had started, but it was non-committal. I had 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Wasn't sure if I could do it, but I was already doing it. I just wasn't acknowledging that I was already doing it. I've seen the most growth in myself when I've actually put both feet in, when I've actually let myself do it. And I know it's really hard to balance it all and make sure that you take care of yourself while also doing the thing you want to be doing. But I found that when I do the thing that I want to be doing, I feel better. And that's made a big difference these last few years in content creation.
I feel like just to build on that, I think that is so important, is that when you're going to do something, especially something like this, we always have to do the thing, or we should always be doing the thing, that when you're playing the game, you're doing the event, that it brings joy for you. Because if it doesn't, like, we're not actors. If it doesn't, like, you're going to be able to tell. And it's going to come out in the stream, and nobody wants to watch someone being sour. I don't really get it. I mean, maybe there's somebody in the world that likes that. But
Pickle?
Overall, yeah, there's too many pickles. But overall, like, I would say, like, you know, if you're thinking about streaming or you're considering it, well, first of all, I would say just take courage. Take courage and go ahead and just do it. Whatever, my first setup was like, I don't know, like terrible lighting, bad camera angle, terrible sound, everything was bad. But you know, so what? So what? And then the other thing I would say too is that one time, this is a long time ago, my friends told me that if I didn't have at least 5 haters, that I was doing it wrong. So I was like, okay, fine. I'm sure I can find at least 5 haters, and I can do it today. So that was fine. You know, I think so. Not everyone has to like you. That's the other thing. I think it is very difficult in this industry because everyone's looking, you're chasing likes, you're chasing hearts, you're chasing some kind of feedback that's positive. You know, more followers, more viewers. But you know what? Not everyone has to like you, and if they don't, okay. You go about your life, you don't like me, I'll go about my life, I don't even know who you are. Whatever. You know, like, it doesn't matter. Don't let it matter that much. Do something you like, and just keep doing it. Like, that's it. Like,
I love that. And not just great streaming advice, but just life advice. Absolutely. To start to wrap things up a little bit before we open the floor to questions, kind of a 2-part question. 1, are there any final thoughts you'd like to leave with the audience today? And 2, where can we find you on socials, on Twitch? Should we be looking for these usernames or anything else?
I'll just say I'm grateful that all of you showed up today. It's really awesome. I never thought in my time streaming or anything like that I'd ever get to do something like this. This is my local convention, and I would come here when I was younger and be like, wow, this is amazing. These panels, these people streaming at the event, all these things that these content creators do that I would love to be able to do, I'm never going to be able to do. And yet, here I am, fast forward to this. It's very cool. It's such a nice feeling. And so I'd say to you that you can do anything you want as long as you put both feet in. And I'm Zelda Fairies, also known as Zelden, and you can find me on every single social media because I'm crazy.
I'm Castiel on Twitch, cats_tails, and then this is the only place that you can find me right now. When I turn my stuff back on, hopefully in the next month or so, maybe by summer, let's be real, it'll probably also be under cats_tails because probably nobody else will ever take that name because it's weird. Thank you.
I also want to say thank you all for coming out to this panel. It's been delightful. I want to say to my panelists, thank you all for putting up with me because this is my 5th panel. My brain is fried.
You're doing great.
It also got started by a mindful player earlier, so it's a little scrambled. But if y'all would like to find me, I'm on all platforms as well. I stream on Twitch, make YouTube videos, TikTok, Twitter is a lot of memes. I'm not sorry. Instagram, all that stuff. At Camilla Panda. Make life easier. It's just same everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. Well, first off, thank you to our panelists for being so open and wonderful today. And I'd like to go ahead and move forward to any questions that you guys might have. You'll see microphones. I think there's just one here, so feel free to line up and use the microphone if you have any questions for our panelists.
Ooh. Hi.
I wanted to ask, what is the thought process about understanding your boundaries, implementing them, and then also enforcing them? Because I know I assume that there are people here who are interested in building a community, so I wanted to hear your thought process behind that.
I can start. Boundaries are so important. It's something that I work towards every day, work on all the time. And I think what's important is knowing, like, you know how you have a work-life balance. You close the laptop. You make sure that you're taking the time for you. It's good to be able to have a little bit of that mindset as well in this space here too. I love my community. I love being able to engage with them. But I also have to acknowledge, like, I am my own person that has to deal with all things. I have my family back at home. I have all these things to balance, a job as well. So there are so many things to make sure that you're keeping track of and keeping safe as well. So having that same mentality can be really helpful.
I think I use a similar boundary level for antics in my chat as being PG-13. And I think that that's a really simple concept. Everyone understands like what kind of behavior. If you just say, hey, this is a PG-13 location, people will tone it down. And if they can't, guess what? I will throw a hammer. Like, I don't care. I think everybody knows that. Like, in my place is very fun because people will make a lot of fun jokes and like I'll make silly jokes too that are like a little off color, but not disgusting, you know? And I think that everybody knows that. And as far as like responding to things and like being on 24/7 and answering things, everybody knows that I'm a mom, and everybody knows I'm not available between 2:30 and 9 p.m. And I'm never going to answer you between 2:30 and 9 p.m. And that's just the way it is. And you just draw that line. And then don't ever answer in those hours if you can.
Yeah, for like myself, it's my boundary started with what I was comfortable with. If it made me uncomfortable, then I would just call it out and be like, hey, like that's maybe don't is the right answer. It's just don't. Now it's to the point that, oh no, the 5 panels have hit. My train has left the building in my brain. But when it comes to like, I started with my boundaries. Hold on, let me go through my process right now. Boundaries, started with boundaries. Got it. Back on track here. I went from what made me comfortable to also including like my moderators a little bit, who are better at understanding like people's potential intentions of things. Because I will read something and I will read it for fact and go, cool. And then my moderator would go, Nikki, they're hitting on you. Like, we need you to realize this. Please. We beg of you. So I've learned to include my moderators in that process just because things go over my head all the time. It's just who I am. I can't help it.
Got time for maybe one more question, if anyone has one.
In terms of being able to kind of build the communities you wanted, what was some of the things you kind of did to kind of help like build yourself up, being like, I know I can do this, and it's like, even if there was like that self-doubt, if that makes sense.
I can start. For me, it was literally that I had to just let myself do it. A lot of times I would make things and not post about it because I was like, I don't know if anybody wants to see this. I don't know if anybody would be interested in anything that I do. Meanwhile, I do things now and people are really excited and people really want to support what I'm doing. So it's really, for me, it's letting myself do it even if I'm scared that it's going to be cringe. Because being cringe is not that bad. It can be kind of fun, at least from this side. I don't know. Sorry.
I would say that for me, I think at some point you have to let things not be perfect. And like if it's not perfect, it's still okay. And once you're like, I can do this, and it's not going to be the best thing ever, but it's going to be done. And when it's done and you've done it, you're proud that you did it. And I think that that's one of those things that will help you, like, sort of like break through. Because sometimes done is better than perfect. Almost all of the time, honestly. And, sometimes, like, I'll just show up. Like, even if I don't want to cancel again. Like, a lot of times I'll have to cancel for various reasons. And canceling makes you feel terrible. And so, I'll show up without makeup, I'll show up with my hair completely soaking wet, I'll show up like, I don't even know, like in a mental state, I'm like, I don't even know what's happening, what day is it, hi guys, I'm here. But I did it, and I didn't skip it. And by the time I'm finished, I'm like, thank goodness I didn't cancel, because then, XYZ funny thing wouldn't have happened. And, my community, like, it's not, I don't think that people depend on me to be there, but kind of they do. Like, I'm their company, like, I'm there during their work day. A lot of people jumped in my chat for a coffee break. And I want to be there. And so I think that that's it too. I think it's just, done is better than perfect, and just doing it is going to feel great.
I'm only going to add to what you said, and I'll be short. Just eat it.
I could have said that way faster.
I think we actually have a few more minutes to wrap up, so I saw there was one more question in the back if you wanted to still ask.
I was going to ask, when you first started out, did you have, a roadmap for where you wanted to go? Did you, know how you wanted to do things, or did you just go with it?
Just go with it, honestly. It's hard to predict anything. It's hard to expect anything. And I think if we have expectations, we're going to often be let down. Because I think if we're expecting something else, we might miss. We might miss what could have been coming for us. So I think just going for it, just doing the best that you can, and not having too many expectations, but knowing that you do want to end up somewhere can be really helpful.
I think that if you're a goal setter type and you'd like to set goals, you should set goals that are actually within your control. So you want to set a goal of like, I'm going to stream these certain days for this much time, that kind of thing. You can't control who shows up. You can't control how it goes. You can't control if you have stupid technical problems, but you can say, I'm going to have a goal where this month I'm going to do this many streams. And when you check that off, you're done and you did it. So I think it's important to set goals that are in your control if you're going to be a goal setter.
When I first started, I had absolutely zero goal. I knew what OBS was. Because we used it to stream robotic stuff. But other than that, I had zero clue what I'm doing. So my stream started with, I'm just going to hit go live and pray.
Yeah.
And, I played a lot of Magic the Gathering Arena then. I ended up buying a capture card just because I'm like, I want to try playing Spyro because that was a lot of fun when I was a kid. So I had my laptop. I didn't even have a desk. It was in my parents' house. Literally a laptop, like the little like college like laptop thingamabob, using the laptop webcam, and then I had a TV in my room. I didn't even have a second monitor. I was just like, I'm gonna just sit in my bed and that's where I'm streaming from. We're gonna hope that it looks good. So, just if anything, if you're going to try it, like if step one is literally just hitting the go live button, that's fine. You don't need lights, you don't need fancy things if you're just trying it. Also, yeah, work within your means. Like don't buy a $5,000 PC.
No, don't do that.
Well, again, thank you all so much. I'll personally be sticking around. Will you guys be able to stick around for a minute?
Yes.
Awesome. If anyone has any additional questions, feel free to come up to us. And thank you again for joining us, and safe travels on your way home.
Thanks, guys. Bye. Bye.